Hello, I'm Mantastic'c and Fantastic, and today I want to break down the team composition I utilize to quickly and mindlessly farm Dimension of the Mystics, or MD1. So, Leo plus a trio of Shiva dragons and another Leo friend is able to build an incredibly low-effort, high-damage output team. And the cookie-cutter build is double Leo, with your Leo having leader swap, the friend's Leo having damage absorption latent, and then your 3 Shiva dragons with the damage absorption cancellation latent, and then the killers, I guess, or whatever. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, at that point. And then you have 1 sub-slot. So there's not too much flexibility in this team. And for MD1, Elio is going to be your best-in-slot option because once they do transform, they give you like haste and a bunch of skill boosts, which makes your life easier. But when they do transform, they have a respectable amount of damage output with double 10 combo. Not to the extent of Shiva dragons, but still respectable nevertheless. But it's their active skill that is invaluable on a 3-turn cooldown. It gives you 1 turn of void, damage void, which is important because you're never making a VDP. You're just going to smash through everything. And fully recovers awakening skill binds. So you can clear Awakening Binds and you deal VDPs. And the way the dungeon is spaced out, everything just almost lines up perfectly that no stalling is truly necessary for the most part. And Elio is just going to be the best in slot because he covers those options. You could definitely possibly try and find other workarounds, but it's obviously going to make your team slower. And the goal is you need to have ways to deal with Damage Void, Awakening Bind clears, and Unmatchable as well. So going through my weapon assists, R2-D2, I think, is a great weapon assist for this dungeon because it gives me a movement time buff, which is not that important, potentially, because you don't really move much with this team. But it gives you the RCV buff and Unmatchable. And in this setup I have currently with Elio, this is valuable because I am able to clear the RCV debuffs, especially from floor 2, so I can heal up easier, and Unmatchable. And the fact that it's a 4-turn cooldown with my Leo makes it a 6-turn cooldown, lets me actually have this up on a regular basis. And I only utilize the Leo with the R2-D2 as their inherit. I never use it for the base active skill because I got to make sure I have a way to clear those unmatchable orb statuses. And of course, with the way Leos work, you can have one or the other. Other alternatives to R2-D2 could be Lena Inverse's weapon assist because it does give you does it give you? No, it doesn't give you that. But like Wedding Trelo, their weapon assist gives you a way to also clear Unmatchable and RCV debuffs. Like I was just trying to find ways to get rid of RCV debuffs. Like, can I find? No, I don't have it prepped, but that's fine. Like, you can fiddle around in Pad DB and basically try and filter out the options you need. For the other Leo, I utilize Grandis's weapon because it makes your life easier. To a certain extent, the goal of Pad is to play as little Pad as possible, and there are locked Skyfalls at some point in the dungeon, and you could match an L, but, you know, matching orbs is kind of barbaric when you could just press an active skill, and by giving yourself locked fire orbs, you're able to overwrite that debuff, and it also gives you team HPs along with Fire Rose. It's just a good weapon. It's a great weapon assist all around for this particular dungeon. Again, it's a bit more of a luxury. If you squeeze in an L in some way, shape, or form, you could make that L and you can get by. But this makes life easier, so to speak. And then after that, for Elio, their weapon assist is Lord Biao's weapon because it changes their sub-attribute to fire. The key is changing the sub-attribute to fire, but Lord Biao gives you bind immunity, which is great, as well as 60% blind resist. So when I use that in conjunction with Odin's weapon assist, I have enough blind resist. It may not be necessary to have blind resist, but the weapon assists, to a certain extent, on my Shiva dragons are not that important as long as I, have them bind immune. So with this shield, I'm able to get the sub-attribute change. And that sub-attribute change is necessary if you want to one-shot Patty, which is the second to last floor. Basically, if Leo, with their physical killers, can deal enough damage with their sub-attribute, you can one-shot Patty with this setup. Your life is so much easier, your clears are much faster and much safer overall. But again, this is just trying to min-max. If you don't have Elio, obviously this doesn't really apply, so to speak, to a certain extent. But the weapon assists on my Shiva dragons are Odin's. Like I said, I need bind immunity and blind resist. The key are bind immunities, though. The blind resist lets me have full blind immunity. I brought one Medu hat for more rows, combo orb, team HP. There's a good chance you have a Medu hat lying around. Always a good choice. And then I chose one of the Kingdom cards, Zin's or Xin Sword, because it has bind immunity but double team RCVs. I'm looking for things that gave team RCV, because with team RCV I can heal with less effort. Again, remember, the goal is to match as little as possible, to go as quickly and as mindlessly as I can. And with the team RCVs, it just lets you have an easier time. So if you have ways to find good ways to sprinkle in team RCVs, you can have an easier time. But like I said, the middle weapon assists are kind of flexible to a certain extent, but the R2-D2 weapon or equivalents only utilize that for that Leo. Don't use their base active skill. Once I pop Grandis as active, I'm using this Leo's base active to unlock orbs if needed, or give me hard orbs or an attack buff, so on and so forth. But for the most part, the team kind of plays itself. You touch Shiva Dragon, you swipe, you go to the next floor. There's not too much thinking involved. Just match hard orbs when they are possible. But with that being said, let us now enjoy the actual gameplay footage. Hello, I'm Mantastic'c and Fantastic, and today, Dimension of the Mystics 1, or MD1, with Leo plus the Shiva Dragon army. So, the team building is, kind of restricted, because, you have Leos as your leader, your Shiva Dragons as your subs, and then you have a bunch of options for latents, but there's not too much diversity, so to speak. And for the flex slot, Elio is by far the best choice, because they clear Awoken Binds, and they solve the void damage void problems. And it's a low cooldown, so it's incredibly unique in that aspect. So the R2-D2 equip will clear the RCV debuff, time debuff, whatever debuff there was, it could clear it for me, which is nice. It also removes unmatchable, which is important. So we're going to clear the unmatchable, we're going to haste it back up again so it's ready for the future floor that could give me unmatchable problems. I will find a time to heal at some point. I have hard orbs at the top, so I'll use the Shiva Dragon that has never mind, I'm going to use the Shiva Dragon that clears the lock board instead. I was going to match hearts, but it's fine. Maybe I'll get some hearts later. Unfortunately not now. But I'll be fine. They take them away anyways. It's so inconsiderate. Alrighty, so I am able to just match these hard orbs here, and I'll heal up a modest amount. The RCV buff helps. Oh good, more hard orbs I can play with. It's always a good habit to heal up if it's possible. Okay, so Grandis is utilized here because they will grant you a way to clear the locked orbs without having to make an L, because now it's locked fire orbs, which does clear the problem. So it's a little cheesy, but it works incredibly well, and it also has nice awakening, so there's not too much downside. And now the Leo that just utilized Grandis is able to spam their base skill as needed, basically. Alrighty, you give me some interesting Skyfalls. So I'm going to give myself some hearts, though I don't know if I need them anytime soon, but it's there. Bloop. Still holding on to the R2-D2 one because it clears unmatchable. Alright, Sarasvati could be a problem, but not for me. So, Elio is vital. It clears the Awakening Bind. It gives me Void Damage Void. It is amazing. On to the next floor. So many hazards. Not yet, Spencer Riceman. So, normally damage absorption would be a problem, but not for this team. So, unlock, and then... Shiva Dragon. I might as well get some more hearts. A little bit more healing never hurt anyone. These poisons and jammers will eventually go away. Pew, 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 pew. The damage absorption latent trivializes that spawn and potentially this spawn if it was Australis, but I don't even need to put the puzzle and dragons now because all I'm going to do is match this, and it should be enough damage to bring it to Super Resolve, and then the auto follow-up attack so big, I dodge Saria's puzzle. So we're looking good, we got the health. Do I need the Awakening Bind? Yes, I do. Elio to the rescue. And like I said, the poison and jammers are going to eventually drop down enough that they'll all be just removed eventually. Okay, Matcha is not a problem for this team because I ignore Matcha with the leader slot latent. So we just keep swiping. So I gotta wait for a turn for Elio to come back up, and then I would be able to VDP this through. So I don't actually... Well, I do have a VDP Awakening on someone, technically. But I'm not even going to bother with it. And just instead wait. Okay. So. We got to unlock the board. We got to do the Elio thing, too. So this should hopefully do enough damage to one-shotter with the physical killers, and the fact that Elio has a sub-attribute of red, it's just barely enough damage to kill her, which is great. Now, other Alberts would be just swipe and go, swipe and go. Against Bluebird, I have to have Elio charge back up, so what I need to do is be a little bit more careful, so to speak, because if I were to bring it down to Super Resolve, I get Awoken bound, and then that could be problematic, so gotta just tickle it gently like this, basically. So, we're gonna do this just to keep activating my leader's skill, but we're trying to not match the row, because that's where all my damage is. Oh wait, I could have killed it there, what am I doing? Elio would have been up by now. So I could have done this faster, my mistake. Didn't have to dance through all this. I realize I could have done something bad if I get locked orbs now. Okay. Well, I made my life ever so marginally harder than it had to be. Unnecessarily. I miscounted my actives, but it's okay. So, dance for only one turn on Bluebird, and then Elio's ready, and then you smash. Soon, yes, you shall. There's the Awakening Bind that I said could be dangerous. So, we're going to clear it. We're going to use Shiva Dragon. We're going to use the Ultraman. We're going to make another row at the top. And we should have... Well, this could have been 3 turns. So I could have done this in 1 turn faster. It's okay. Oh, never mind. I still need a little bit more time. Oh, shoot. I think R2-D2 unlocked that for me, did it? Or is it Shiva Dragon? I don't know. It eventually dies! Okay, Bluebird down. I think that one seems a little bit more stressful. I don't know if I can say it's that stressful, actually, to be fair. But yeah, so I think Leo Shiva Dragon system makes this dungeon much easier than it could have been. Getting Bluebird to drop is nice. The Gem Rush has kind of offset the true need to play this dungeon as much, but hey, it's a good place to potentially get your first free 85 magic stones for your first time clear. But with that being said, hopefully this video gives you some insight as to what you could do to tackle this dungeon with your Leo and Shiva dragons. Elio is kind of irreplaceable in this particular setup because nothing else brings that Awakening Bind clear plus Void, damage, Void, all in one active, and just enough damage to potentially kill Patty. With that being said, hopefully you all have a truly fantastic day. I wish you all the best luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.